So today I'm delighted to have my partner in crime, Mr. Marc Gallagher. He's very kindly offered to come down and do an interview. Now, all my interviews, what I try and do is everybody knows what the artists do on stage. You've seen them on Facebook or live. I like to sort of delve into the sort of background a bit and just find out what it was that sort of, what was the spark that got people playing the ukulele. So welcome, Mr. Marc Gallagher.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh, absolute pleasure. So let's start there if we can, Marc. Your first encounter with a ukulele, how did it happen?
First encounter with the ukulele, ukulele was not my first instrument. I first learned to play piano, I figured out how to play the Crazy Frog theme song, and from there I learned chords mainly just because I wanted to accompany myself singing primarily. Acted as my sort of head start into performing live. From there I wanted to be in a band, so I decided, okay, the 4 roles in a band, singing, which I already could do kind of. I mean, now I was not as good as I was 10 years ago, but singing, guitar, bass and drums. So I moved on to guitar after an introductory module that we had in our curriculum music classes. So we learned 3 chords, D, G and A. The G was an easy G, which is actually same shape as a C chord on ukulele, funnily enough. So I learned to play that, and then 2011 I picked up bass for the first time, wagering that okay, it's like acoustic guitar, but it's just root notes was the way I approached it at that point in time. And I came across the ukulele first time was my mother went to a car boot sale and she bought a load of like old Total Guitar magazines from a few years prior, and she bought like 8 of them for £1 or whatever. And one of those articles in one of those magazines was your first 4 chords on ukulele, C, G, A minor, F. And bear that in mind. I've been to a music store a couple of times, you know, noodled on ukuleles with these 4 chords. And I remember one particular example was in, I think it was in Wales somewhere. There was a visit at a music shop, and in their ukulele section, I figured out how to play an E chord, and I did it sort of this way, you know, the awkward way. Did that and then I started playing that shape for Hey Soul Sister, this train song.
Okay.
And then I remember going, okay, B must be this. And I remember in real time, as I was strumming, I was thinking, oh, C sharp minor, this must be the 3rd, so... And I just remember working that out in real time. Oh, that must work. And then by the same token, A must be this, but 2 down. And that was a massive moment of realization of, oh my gosh, that works in that way. And it was at Guitar Fair in Crewe that I got my first ever ukulele. It was a Falcon Soprano for £20, I think.
Nice.
And Falcon was a derivative of the guitar brand Vintage. And it was nice. I named that ukulele Billy, and I had it for years before I eventually donated it to my high school, their music department.
Fabulous, fabulous. So moving on, I think I've met you for the first time at Barry Maz's festival in Nantwich, and it was great to see you sort of there. How many years ago is that now? 2014, 13 maybe?
That was 2000. So 2014 was the one in Ranbury. He did a couple in Titherton in 2012 and 13 respectively, although I don't know if you were there for those ones.
No,
that's right. So. Barry Maz was instrumental in my place in the ukulele world. So I was just playing ukulele for fun. It was just an extra instrument, and I wanted to be a multi-instrumentalist. I wanted to say, I can play all the instruments.
Right.
So a ukulele was an extra thing to have. Same concept of holding chords and strumming as guitar. On Monday afternoons, my high school, we had a ukulele club. I say a ukulele club, it was about 4 people.
Okay, it's a start.
It was about 4 people, varying, numbers fluctuated, but it was about 4 main members. And while we were there, two of the members, Alice Leatham and Matthew Mason, I believe, they pointed out, oh, there's a ukulele jam, another ukulele club that runs at a pub called the Black Lion, which is about 100, 200 metres away from the school, Sunday afternoons. So we used to go to these jams on Sundays, and that's how I became acquainted with Barry Maz and the Nukes, his band at the time. Right. So it was from there that I had his various contacts with Nukefest, mixing it in with the names like Dead Man's Ute, like Crabbers, like Phil Dolman. It was all through those festivals. That was my entry into the ukulele scene.
Yes. Yeah, happy to say they're all part of my ukulele family as well. Great bunch of people, and often meet each other on the road, as it were. So it's fabulous that. Then you had an offer with Grand Northern, is that right?
Yes. So I like to say that when I talk about the ukulele music scene, I dabbled in it a bit from about 2012 to 2014, and then I had a couple of years off. I just wasn't very active. 2016 was the year I re-entered the uke scene. It was the year I started taking ukulele seriously. So I like to say, when people ask how long I played the instrument for, I say, well, I first picked it up 8 years ago. Well, I first picked it up 2011, but 2016 was the year I actually started properly doing it. So I realised that I missed the ukulele scene, and I wanted to get back involved with it. So Barry Maz, on his website, gotukulele.com, he had the ukulele festival guide, big calendar, which said all the ukulele festivals that are happening. And I emailed all of them, saying, hi, I'm a newish player. How can I get a slot? How can I contribute to your festival? And there were 4 festivals that bit, as it were, that could have me. First one was Scotland, Ukulele Festival Scotland. They had me in the new performance competition, and I was very inexperienced. But I'm very glad they gave me the opportunity. They were the first ones to do it. Grand Northern Ukulele Festival had me involved. They said, Mark, we can't put you on as an artist. We're full, but we could. I also pitched that I was studying sound engineering at university at that point in time. They're like, Mark, we could utilise you for sound as a way of getting you involved with the festival. So for the last few years, I've been doing sound engineering on the basement stage, the Unplugged the Wood stage at the Lawrence Batley Theatre, and that's been really fun. I've also done other bits around for their other fringe events, and I'm very glad to have had involvement with the team. In 2016, I also did a slot on the Mim Sideshow stage, and from there, they have a slot where they have a couple of slots open, which, someone who impresses the most on that stage gets a 1-song spot on the main stage. So I managed to win that, and from there I've been involved as an artist for Grand Northern on last couple of years, and I'm going to be on the main stage this coming year. And
fantastic.
It's nice that because this is sort of a very large ukulele festival within Britain, it's nice to see the amount of contacts and the amount of things this has led on for me. And I have a lot to thank Grand Northern for that.
Sure, absolutely. Moving to the end of last year, it seems funny saying last year when we're just into January. But I had the pleasure of playing for the first time in Germany. I believe you played there a couple of times before, and made some great friends, and some of your friends as well. It was just an amazing experience for me, having never been before. And I hope some of our friends in Germany are going to be watching this, and to publicly say thank you to them for giving us both the opportunities to do things.
Definitely.
And it was great. And we recorded yesterday in a sort of side room. There's a bit of a funny story about that. Can I tell it?
Yeah, by all means.
Okay, so Mark said to me, would you like to do a duo? So I says, well, yeah. And he says, let's do it. So we thought, well, we know yesterday, kind of roughly. So we decided what we would do is have a couple of runs through, and it worked. So and then Mark says, in sort of Mark's way, well, let's record it. So we did. We had about 3 or 4 attempts because there was all sorts of noises going on, but I'm sure some of our friends watching this would have seen us play it, but it was good fun to do. And it was the first time I'd actually seen yourself playing at a full concert, and your variety of music is incredible.
Thank you.
You know, I've seen clips on YouTube of you doing various things, but to watch you in concert it's a different ball game, because half the secret, as you know, is to kind of work the audience and have a program in your head, and then if that's working, stick with it. If not, being able to have the professionalism to then say, I'm going to dump that and I'm going to put this in place, you know. So you did absolutely marvelous. There was a time also, I think it was the night before on a Friday, we went to a local bar, like an open mic, and you just stole it, mate. There was no other word for it. It says, and it was right at the end of the night, and it was absolutely packed out, and you did 3 or 4 tunes, and like everybody got on board. So well done for that.
Thank you.
So Mark, tell us what is happening with you in 2020.
I've got a few things coming up which I'm quite excited for. At the moment, I've got a couple of discussions that I'm having with ukulele festivals, but the ones I can say that I'm booked for are Ukulele A Go-Go in Belgium. I've never been to Belgium before, but I'm really excited. And I've also got Grand Northern Ukulele Festival coming up this June, in which I'll be on the main stage for. In terms of my other projects, I've still got my twice weekly cover videos, and you can help support those further by visiting my Patreon, which is I've just launched, patreon.com/Marc Gallagher Music.
Say that slower. What's it called?
Patreon.com/Marc Gallagher Music.
Okay, got
Marc Gallagher, Mark spelled with a C because my mum's awkward. And in a couple of things I'm working on, I'm looking at having released my album Songs from a Happy Winter in December, and have finally got that out there, and all the associated merch which you can get on my Bandcamp store at Marc Gallagher Music. I'm also looking at doing a couple of like self-produced albums this time round, because I've done my proper thing and I want to just, you know, I've got a couple ideas. I want to do an album of collaborations because I've earned a bit of a reputation for that over the last year or so. And I'm also looking at doing an album of instrumentals along a similar vein as what Mr. Moss does, actually.
That's my full title. Wow. you might get a beer for that. But no, I mean, it's absolutely fascinating to hear people's backstory. What for you would you say, just going back again to the early years, what was sort of the trigger moment where you thought, wow, this is great, you know?
Probably Nukefest 2014. Zyra Lousley was the penultimate performer on that outdoor open mic stage, and it was there just seeing how she captivated the entire audience, and that was where I kind of realised how great, you know, the ukulele community can be.
Right. So I need to check in with her again just to see what she's up to, because she's kind of been off the scene for a couple of years. So it'd be nice to make contact again. Talking of collaborations, what we did in Germany when we did yesterday, it was great fun to do. And I kind of got to thinking, well, if we can throw that together in 5 minutes, what could we do if we spent a couple of hours on something, you know? So I would like to ask you now on camera if we could do something together, maybe do it live, and maybe record it as well as a little memento for people to have. Are you up for that?
I'm totally up for that. We'll talk about it.
Fantastic. Okay, well, Mark, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for taking the time out on a Sunday to come down. I know you've got a lot on, and really appreciate it. So good luck with 2020 and all the years going forward.
Thank you very much. Hope you have a great year as well.